Hello, TOEFL scholars. Today we're going to tackle a common and very serious mistake in the academic discussion essay: inconsistency in your argument. Many students believe this task requires a perfectly balanced opinion, like weighing both sides equally, but that is not correct. This is not a 50-50 essay. The goal is to choose one side and defend it clearly with strong reasons and examples. Think of it this way. Your stance in an academic discussion essay should be like a lawyer in a courtroom. Your thesis is your client. Your job? Defend your client from start to finish. If you switch sides halfway, you lose the case, and your TOEFL score drops with it. Are you preparing for the TOEFL but struggling to deliver perfect responses in speaking and writing? Or maybe you understand the lectures and conversations in reading and listening, but the multiple choice questions still trip you up? Here's the truth. Knowing the content isn't enough. To get top scores, you need strategy. You need to know how ETS sets traps in their questions and how to answer them smartly without falling for the tricks. That's where Dr. Burns' TOEFL courses come in. In these courses, you'll learn step-by-step strategies for every section, from crafting flawless speaking and writing responses to mastering reading and listening questions. Don't just study aimlessly. Study strategically. Sign up with Dr. Burns today and make your success inevitable. Example of an inconsistent essay. Here's a sample student essay. In my opinion, Andrew is right when he says that celebrities should share their opinions on social and political issues because they have millions of fans and followers. For example, Leonardo DiCaprio, a famous actor, has used his platform to raise awareness about climate change. When he spoke at the United Nations Climate Summit in 2014, many of his followers were inspired to donate to environmental organizations and support climate action, showing how celebrities can positively influence public awareness and behavior. On the other hand, I think celebrities should be discouraged from sharing their views on social and political issues. One of the reasons why I say this is because their opinions on these sensitive subjects can be misleading, as some of them are not well informed. For instance, I recently read that a famous singer in the United States shared incorrect information about climate change on social media, which caused confusion among their fans. Therefore, I am absolutely convinced that celebrities should not share their opinions on social and political matters, and I encourage people to verify facts themselves rather than relying on what a celebrity says. Now, at first glance, this looks fine. It has examples, it mentions both sides. But can this essay score high? No. Why? Because of internal inconsistency. What's wrong? Look at the structure. In the first paragraph, the writer agrees that celebrities should share their opinions. In the second paragraph, the writer completely disagrees with that idea. And in the conclusion, the writer firmly rejects the first argument. What happened to the argument in the first paragraph? It completely disappears. The reader is left thinking, if the first example about DiCaprio was so strong, why are you suddenly absolutely convinced of the opposite? This is what we call a contradiction, and in academic writing, contradiction is intellectual suicide. If you show strong arguments for both sides, but end with, "I strongly disagree," the essay feels unbalanced and confusing. Your reader and the TOEFL rater will see it as inconsistent, and that means a lower score. What should you do instead? If you genuinely see merit in the opposing view, your conclusion must reflect that. For example, you could write, given that there are both pros and cons, I would argue that celebrities can share opinions, but only after thorough research and careful consideration, never based on whims or personal preference. This would be a balanced conclusion that matches your discussion. But remember this key rule. In an academic discussion essay, you cannot stay neutral. You are not the judge, you are the lawyer. Your job is to defend your thesis all the way through. So you must choose one side and stick to it. 2 methods to stay consistent. So how do you do that? There are 2 effective methods. Method 1, full support. In this method, you choose your side and develop it fully with reasons and examples. Here's a revised version of the sample essay using this approach. I strongly believe that celebrities should be discouraged from sharing their opinions on social and political issues because they often spread misinformation due to their lack of expertise. While there are many examples, one of the clearest happened during the COVID-19 pandemic, when some television personalities and athletes posted on social media that the virus was a hoax or that people should ignore social distancing because they valued freedom over fear. Millions of fans were influenced by these messages at a time when health experts were urging people to stay home to prevent the spread of the virus. Even more concerning, a prominent political figure repeatedly used social media to claim that elections were rigged, despite the credible lack of evidence, creating widespread confusion and distrust in democratic processes. These cases clearly show that celebrity opinions can misinform millions, which is why I firmly believe they should avoid using their platforms to discuss social or political issues. Now notice that this essay stays on one side from beginning to end. That's consistency. Method 2, concession plus refutation. Now let's talk about another powerful technique, concession and refutation. This method lets you acknowledge the other side, but without losing your argument. Many students think admitting the other side makes their argument weaker. In reality, if done correctly, it makes your essay more persuasive and shows higher-level thinking. So, how does it work? Concession. First, recognize that the opposing view has some merit. For example, it is true that celebrities can use their fame to raise awareness about important issues, as Andrew mentioned. This shows fairness and intelligence. Refutation. Immediately explain why that point does not overweigh your position. Use contrast signals like however, nevertheless, or yet. For example, however, their lack of expertise often leads to misinformation, which can harm rather than help the public. When you combine both steps, you sound balanced but still firm. Here's a complete example.
It is true, as Andrew mentioned, that given the large platforms celebrities have, it might seem beneficial for them to share their opinions on social and political issues. Leonardo DiCaprio, for instance, has used his fame to raise awareness about climate change, encouraging people to take action and protect the environment. Nevertheless, I believe celebrities should avoid sharing their views on such issues because their actions often contradict their messages, which can confuse the public rather than educate them. DiCaprio himself is an example. Despite advocating for reducing carbon emissions, he attended a lavish wedding in Venice that reportedly involved nearly 90 private jets. This inconsistency makes people question whether his activism is driven by genuine conviction or a desire for publicity. Even worse, such contradictions may lead fans to doubt the seriousness of climate change altogether.
See how that works? You acknowledge some merit, but immediately bring the argument back to your thesis. That's the key. Concede without surrendering. Final advice. So here's the bottom line. Don't contradict yourself. If you see value in the other side, use concession plus refutation, not random switching. Always defend your thesis. When you do this, your essay will sound thoughtful, persuasive, and consistent, the qualities TOEFL raters love.